You're all gonna subscribe.
Alright, we're trading up this time around. We're gonna try something new. I don't know how well this is gonna come out, but I'm using my camera phone. That's right, my phone is gonna be our transformation tutorial focus on today's transformation tutorial focus, which is Kingdom RHINOX. Didn't think that one through, did I? Anyway, enough with the jokes. Let's go ahead and do this, because I swear to God, I don't know how well this is going to turn out, but I'm just trying things, I'm experimenting, and I know for a fact that this isn't going to last even 10 minutes. I'm going to have to do take after take. This thing does not record for long, so I need to go ahead and get this going. So, kick things off here. Here's the instructions. We're not going to need them. We're just going to put them back here. Here's his trading card, which if you actually take the moment to flip open, you will see that Dinobot has turned into somewhat of an Optimus Prime here. Let me try and put this in the center here so you can see it. I keep putting my hand here thinking that, yeah, the lens is right here when it's not. It's dead center right here. Moron. But, yeah, you can see. Yeah, kind of a mix of Dinobot and Optimus Prime. Pretty cool. I want a figure of that. They can't just tease it to us in artwork. We gotta have a physical plastic form of this somehow, some way. Maybe in the next trilogy. I don't know. Depending if Beast Wars goes on. Anyway, here's the packaging with the lovely artwork. Beautiful artwork. I cannot say anything else about it. I mean, my artwork is nowhere near this. This is a masterpiece in its own right. Anyway, here's the back. 35 steps of transformation and vice versa, though it seems like it takes a lot longer. But anyway, there you go. Oh, and there's the authentic Transformers logo and the Misaligned Generations logo. Once I put it in the center, there you go. Alright, now that that's all taken care of, let's go ahead and get RHINOX out of his robot mode and into his complicated beast mode, which I promise I'm not going to get this in one go. It's going to take maybe 2 or 3. First thing we need to do is remove his chain guns. And at this point, what we can do with them, once we turn the handles the right way, because they're supposed to be matching on both ends like that, we've got 2 pegs and 2 holes. We just need to line it up, peg them in to one another like so, kind of like the Generations one, the Thrilling 30th, except the handles were on the opposite side. One handle would be facing this way, the other handle would be facing the opposite direction, if I recall. I can't show you comparisons, I don't have that figure anymore. Tell you the truth, I don't have any of my Thrilling 30th Transformer figures anymore, except for RC and Chromia. Yeah, my Fembot stayed. Everything else, including the Beast Wars figures, went bye-bye. Oh well. With that said, we're going to continue on with this transformation. Now, let's work on the arms. So what we need to do is open up the forearm panel, flip the hands in. Once we got the clearance to flip them all the way in, close that back up, rotate here, and there we have a leg. And we can repeat the same process on this side. Up this panel here and forearm, which is tighter, and then we can swing in this hand, which is also tighter. Close that up and then rotate this, and there we go. Now we got this monstrosity, but hey, that's the way it's to be. Ooh, got cold in here all of a sudden. The air vents are on the floor. My apologies, you may actually hear that. That's pretty bad. Hold on 1 second, everyone. I told you I wasn't going to be able to do this in one take. I got interrupted. Someone was knocking at the door. Anyway, it's late night. That was kind of scary. Anyway, yeah, going back to the transformation. Where were we at now? Oh, yeah, right. This step. We need to open up his chest piece so we can fold in his faux chest section, because this does not become the lower jaw of his Rhino mode. As a matter of fact, it's right here, obviously. And we rotate his head here. Just because we gotta hide it. Once we take its entire back section here and flip this sucker up as far as it will go, Let's come up a little higher than that. There we go. Don't, by any means yet, put this over his head. You need some clearance here for this part of the transformation. Once we get his arms straight out, like so, what we need to do is we need to bring him in like that, as if he's crossing his arms, which he's playing patty cake, I guess. Okay, anyway, what we need to do is we need to take these pieces, these I'm pointing at, as they're on their own hinge, their own orientation. We flip them in, and this is why I say do not let the Rhino head go all the way down and collapse over RHINOX's head. Because once you get this lined up like this, that should bring it straight up like so. Once again, kind of a little bit of a fight here, but hey, you'll get used to it. Just make sure it lines up and goes all the way up without his Rhino head getting in the way again. Push it back a little. Here we go. Just like that. And there we go. Yeah. At this point, I think it's okay. I think you're good to go with flipping this over his head and opening the jaw. For some reason, that's what the instructions say to do. I don't know why, but it's not like it holds it in place. You can see it doesn't block anywhere. But oh well, who am I to say? Anyway, what we need to do now is take these side skirt pieces or hip pieces and just make sure they're facing frontward to his crotch plate here. Otherwise, they just get in the way of the transformation from this point forward, and I mean everywhere from this point forward. Open up these panels, the front part of his leg like so, and we're going to swing down this hinge. He's got two hinges here at the knees, right above this green piece, and down here at his his just lower leg section like that. Gotta straighten it up as best as you can and split it out some so you got clearance, because there's going to be a lot of stuff bumping in the way here, especially with this part here. What we need to do is, once we have that clearance, once this is lined up straight, you should be able to swing this up with no problem here. Because what we're going to do now is we're going to swing out this piece here, which is going to be his butt flap. We'll come back to that very shortly, but we need to get in here and pull out his leg, and then we rotate it, because this is as high as it goes in this direction here, and then you got all this hollow mesh. We're going to hide that in just a moment. What we have to do is swing it this way, rotating it about 90 degrees, so now what was on the outside is on the inside here, and we got this socket piece here that has quite the opening, which will allow us to swing out the rest of the leg completely into position where it's supposed to be. Then we come back to the feet here on the ankle rocker pivot. We're going to swing that down and rotate this up. And the instructions tell you to go ahead and peg this into place here in that slot. Don't do that. It ruins the transformation, as I've discovered time and time again. You can never get this to line up right with the backpack if you peg that into place. Let it move. Let it move. Just leave it a be. So anyway, repeat the same process on this side, and once you do, then you can swing this up, swing out his butt flap, bring out his leg, rotate it 90 degrees, swing it up all the way, and we come back to his foot, ankle rocker pivot, swing it down, rotate that up, push it up, don't lock it in, just leave it be. We're gonna come back to it. Alright, so now what we need to do is, we've got this mess here that we need to turn this way so we can see what's going on with the Rhino. Hey man, he's been through a road wreck or something. I mean, jeez. Anyway, we've got the clearance at this point. We should be able to actually take this entire section here, and we should be able to rotate it to get some clearance here, like so. If I'm doing this right. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to get this lower section here, the back legs, to actually get around this piece here at the knee, which is easier said than done. But if you can pull out just a little bit rotate it just a little bit, it should get the clearance that you need. Like that. And it's supposed to be rotated this way. I don't know why it was the other way around, but there we go. That's one problem out of the way. At this point, you can actually push this all the way in. Still, don't let it peg into position. It just gets in the way. I'll go ahead and do that for the other side. I don't have it locked in, see? It's not locked in, it's still moving around. Let it be. Anyway, now that that's done, we need to get this hinge to come all the way straight forward. You know, have it at a 90 degrees position. Just like this, because this is going to tuck underneath here, which is the toe for his robot mode. And this is why I say make sure this does not peg into place here, because I'm going to show you real quickly. If you rotate this way with his beast arm, you can see that this is at an angle here. The toe's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be laying flush with this groove here. And you can't do that if you got it locked into position. So in order to prevent that disaster, once I get this out of the way, actually you can see it much better now, but you want to make sure that this is 90 degrees, it's facing upright. First of all, to get things going here, because we're going to get this to work, we're going to get it in there. Should make sure that everything is right, and it's not. This is the most complicated part of the transformation. It's getting all this to cooperate, which it's not. Of course it's not. Why would it? Anyway. There we go. Oh, that didn't sound good. Don't worry, it's supposed to do that. It does that all the freaking time. Every time I transform this guy, it's just one scary piece after another snapping into place. See how that's straight now? There we go. That's what we wanted. Now that toe should be laying flush to this groove here on his back as it is. You can see it, even if it's not in the center. There we go. Now what we need to do is we can just leave all this be for the time being, because we need to repeat the same process on this side, of course. So, let's go over here and bring this up so we can swing this around here, because this piece, it needs to, you guess it, it needs to get around that knee joint. Easier said than done, because if you ain't got the clearance, you ain't gonna do it so easily. It is flexible plastic, but you don't want to force it too much. But if you can get it, more power to you. Me, not so much, because I'm on camera. But no, in all fairness, I've only transformed this guy a couple of times. So maybe it's got something to do with the fact that I don't have this joint all the way up. Now I do. Maybe that might help out the situation a little bit, because we really need that to come around. Just a little, there we go. Yeah, that made it a lot easier. So anyway, now we need to get this foot back into position here, so we can get that to come underneath. It's gonna tuck under. Once we got all this connected just right, it's straight. This is where we're gonna stop for the time being. What we need to do is take the butt flap piece on the inside and swing that to the outside, and there's going to be a tab and a slot right here. We'll tap that in. Repeat the same process on this side. It's going to have that tab in the slot. We're going to do that, and then we're going to leave this split it apart for a moment as I grab the chain gun and hope for the best with this part, because this is to your own preference. To tell you the truth, I can never really do this right, but we've got these little tabs where my thumb and my pointer finger are holding that are gonna go right into these holes in his knees, right there and there. Good luck doing this. The first couple of times it's a mess, but after a while you should get used to it and figure out your own pattern, and it will work, because you want the handles to be facing the inside of his butt crack. I know, hilarious, but that's what you want. And if you can get this It's kind of hard to do this on camera, guys. I really need this up close in my face to figure this one out, but if I can do it, I can do it. If not, oh well, I'll just throw the gun aside and say we did it anyway. Because it's not easy to see this with a camera in my face. But if we can get this to peg in, please, please, please peg in, please. We do not have more time. We have less time than expected, according to the camera. Now please, peg in, hold. See how I got that lined up? Well, you want to hold it all together so you can peg in together his butt flap, which is going to create his tail, by the way. So yes, he does have the tail. And when you got all this, which I'm going to show you again, once you got his toes lined up flush, this part should be very easy. Just make sure everything's properly lined up, as it should. It didn't. His feet have to be straight out like this, because they're gonna lay flush next to the back. And that's the only way this actually works. Just like that. So we should be able to bring this down. We should cooperate now. Come on, man. Come on, work with me here. This piece just doesn't want to go. There we go. So now that all this is holding in place, and I got the chain gun in place this time around, we can take this entire back section here, and we're gonna peg this all together. We're gonna peg it all together. It's going in whether it wants to or not. Yeah, okay, come on, man, stop fighting me here. Because there's actually, if I can show you this real quickly, there's these two pegs. Of course, they're going to coincide with one another. There's a peg and a slot, and a peg and a slot on the opposite end. And then you've got, where is it? Right there, that little slot on both ends here that are going to go right over these pegs here. And that should lock everything into place. If you can get one, you can get the other. But holding this all together so that the chain gun doesn't go flying out can be a burden. There we go. Now let's see if I can get the other one. There we go. And that should hold everything into position just fine at this point. But I'm a little worried that it's still going to find a way to fly out, so I'm just going to leave it be for the moment so I can finish locking everything up down here. Because what we need to do is, now that, well, surprisingly, these actually pegged in themselves here, but yeah, there's two tabs on these side pieces to his thighs that are going to, you know, peg right into place. What we need to do now is we need to take these side pieces for his chest, and there's kind of hard to see at this point, but there's a tab above inside this piece here that's going to coincide with this slot right here, and it should keep it locked into position just like that. If I can get this last one here, we're pretty much at the home stretch, just like that. Alright, this is looking good. Now all we need to do is just straighten out his legs and readjust things to our liking here. I hope you like it, because that's the way I like it. I like it a lot. There we go. Finally, let's just open up that mouth again. I don't know why it was part of the early step of the transformation, but oh well, it is what it is. And there you go. There's RHINOX in his beast mode. Yay! We did it. I'm surprised. We actually did it. Very little hiccups and 2 takes. 2 takes. Now, this is actually the much easier step of all this in the video. It's going from his Rhino mode back to robot mode, because we have to show it all. This is a full-on transformation. It's not just one mode. So anyway, let's do this. So, what we do, basically, we just open up his arms. Yeah, he's flying. No, I'm kidding. what we need to do now is we need to push down on that piece to free it up. So there's that tab that I was talking about and the slot, so it got around. And at this point, we can just put this right in place. Ugh, my tongue quit there, but yeah, we can just push down so we can swing this around and just put it in its rightful place in its robot mode, just like that. And we're done with those. Those don't get in the way from this point forward. Now, let's go ahead and open up his back here, which if you have fingernails, good for you. If you clip yours, like I did, kind of hard. But once you get it open, once this forbidden door has been opened, there you go. Yay, you can take out his chain gun, which is probably just going to unpeg from his knees anyway. We'll put that aside for the time being. And we're going to come in here and we're going to grab his feet and bring them out. Just like that, and you can see they're still not locked in position, which is what you want. And at this point, what we need to do, and this is the part that kind of gets to me in how this actually works, but what we need to do is we need to get this joint to come down to as far as it can go, so we can get the clearance to actually take that piece, that hard part to actually get around here, to come around that knee joint again. And at this point, we can go ahead and start finagling with things. We can take his feet and we can bring it out on that ankle rocker pivot and swing it up and then put it back into place for robot mode. And then we can take his legs and swing that to about there, because that's how it works, until you rotate this 90 degrees, and now you got all that hollow bit sticking out, and that's going to allow you to swing all this in. And it does catch on something. It actually does lock in place like that. And then if I can show you the right direction here, once that's done, all we can do now is just swing up this hinge as far as it will go, and that should push this down. And there's actually a tab right there that's going to slot into a hole right there. And make sure once you get that clicked into place, you hold it down with your thumb, otherwise it will pop back out. Because what we're going to do is we're going to finalize that lock. There is a tab right there, and there's a slot right there for this front panel piece. Push that in, and that should actually, well, you know, I just realized I missed a step of a transformation here. Yes, of course I did. Yeah. You guys noticed it? I'm sure you are already complaining about it. That butt flap piece, I forgot to put that back in place and swing that in like that. Yeah. Anyway, now we've got the click, and then we can push that in. And there we go. That's pretty much a leg. Just make sure that side piece on his hip just stays where it needs to be, like that. And we'll repeat the same process on this side here. Pardon me, I've got an itch. This is going to be a long one, guys. But anyway, go ahead and if I turn it this way, you can actually see what's going on. We'll take this hinge and bring it out straight as much as we can. That should allow us to get the clearance we need to pop this sucker around, which, you know, it was a lot easier on this leg here, but this one always seems to take the cake for some reason. There we go. There we go. Alright, now we can take that butt flap piece, let's not forget it, swing that down until it clicks into place, and then we'll just leave it there for the time being, because the foot actually has to come up and rotate, and then that's got to go in first. Once we get that in its home base, like so, then we can take that butt flap piece and flip that in as far as it will go. And we can come back to his foot, and we can bring it down on the ankle rocker pivot like it should, and then we can rotate this up, and then we can swing this down like that, and then we can take his entire leg section and we can swing this all down on that single hinge, or I mean double hinge, and then the tab and the hole right there in that section, hold it into place, tap the front plate in position, and there you go. Just swing back that hip skirt, and we are pretty much there with his legs. Nothing else to really say about that. Now, this should be a lot simpler. All we need to do now is basically just lift up on this piece here, swing it back, and just leave it there for the time being, because what we're going to do now is we're going to take that piece, that which you guessed, and we're going to rotate this up actually, so we got the clearance to get past these pieces here, and we can push that into position, and then we can take his shoulders and we can swing that out like that. Repeat the same process on this side, swing this out just a little bit, rotate this up just a little bit, then push this into place, and then take this shoulder piece and swing that out just like that. Rotate the head if you want at this point, it's fine, you can save it for last if you want to. Come in here, grab the chest section, flip out the faux jaw, and then close that together like so. Then we'll come back to his backpack here with the rhino head and the front section of his back. On this double hinge, swing it all the way down as far as it will go, and make sure that's lined up if you want. And then we can rotate at the forearm section, so we got something going here. And then we can open up his forearm panel and then swing out his hands. Easier said than done because they're kind of tight on my figure, which is a good thing. And we'll repeat the same process on this side. And once we got that open all the way, that should free the hand, should allow it to swing out, unless it's very tight like mine. And we can close that back. We adjust everything to our liking here at this point. Just make sure the figure looks very presentable, which it does. It's a really good figure. Complicated transformation, but I digress. Finally, let's give him his chain guns. Just split them apart. Put one in his right hand, one in his left hand. And sometimes it's easier said than done for me because one of the handles has too much fleshing on it, which I have not shaved off yet, so kind of makes it a tight grip and very difficult to get in and out of his hand. But that wasn't too bad, was it? There we go, there's RHINOX back in his robot mode. And that completes this transformation tutorial. I'm sorry if it didn't come out as planned here, but unfortunately I couldn't wait on the batteries to my camera to actually charge up fully, so I decided to just use my phone. And it actually is recording quite a long time, to tell you the truth. I'm surprised this is actually still going here, but I don't know, maybe the audio will even be better on this video. I'd call this a success. So anyway, if you enjoyed this one, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to sub up if you haven't. Don't forget to hit that bell notification icon to stay updated whenever I upload videos or have special announcements pop up on my channel here and there. Because, you know, YouTube's algorithm is still a real mess. They really need to work on that some more. And until next time, this is your unprofessional toy reviewer, RHINOX Power, signing off by saying fairly well, so long, goodbye, and get out. And I'll see you whenever you see me.